Welcome back to another edition of the Analytics Sports Now. I'm Josh Dugan, and thank you, as always, for taking the time to check out the show. On this week's Sports Now, we'll recap the spring sports state tourney action from over the weekend, where a Valley softball team landed a state title, and Libby made history on the tennis courts. After that, we'll look at some college sports news as the Frontier Conference, the athletic conference of schools like Montana Tech, Carroll, and Montana Western, is adding a fleet of new athletic programs to the conference in the next couple years. Then we'll close things out with a quick look at how the Glacier Range Riders fared in their season opening homestand at Glacier Bank Park. Let's start out this spring sports update, our last spring sports update of the year, with some state tournament softball action from last weekend, starting with the Columbia Falls Wildcats softball squad, who brought home the Class A state title for the second straight season by beating Billings Central in a championship doubleheader. The Wildcats lost to Billings Central earlier in the tournament during the semifinals, so Sioux Falls had to beat the Rams twice to win the state crown, and Sioux Falls did just that with a 14-3 win in Game 1 and a 9-6 win in the finale to pull off the championship sweep and go back-to-back as state championships. Bella Mann hit a grand slam and drove in 6 total runs in the Game 1 win. Annika Lawrence and Hayden Peters also both homered for Columbia Falls in the win, with both chipping in 3 RBIs apiece. Peters homered again in the Game 2 win and finished 4 for 5 with 3 RBI. Maddie Moultrie pitched a complete game for the Wildcats in the Game 2 win. She struck out 7 Billings Central hitters and helped her own cause on offense with a home run of her own. Big day for Moultrie. The Wildcats beat Polson 10-8 in the third place game to punch their ticket to that championship matchup with Billings Central. Overall, big congratulations to the Wildcats on winning the 2024 Class A State Softball Championship. They always say the hardest thing in sports is to go back-to-back. It's one thing to win it once, but to do it twice is nearly impossible, and Sioux Falls did just that. So major kudos to the Wildcats players, coaching staff, and the softball program as a whole. Moving along, more state championship softball action, this time at the Class AA level, where the Glacier Wolfpack came up just short of rattling off their own back-to-back run as state champs, as the Wolfpack battled their way to the state title game, but ultimately fell 3-2 to Capital, an extra innings game. The game was knotted at 2-2 in the bottom of the 8th when Capital's Anna Cockhill hit a walk-off home run. Kenny Gadet drove in both the Glacier runs with a 2-run home in the 3rd inning. On their way to the title game, the Wolfpack beat Helena, CMR, and Billings West. In those games, Zoe Allen hit 2 homers, good for her 13th and 14th of the season, and Emma Cook hit her 6th and 7th bombs of the year in the tournament. Glacier finished here with 53 total homers as a team, so a lot of pop. Maybe didn't win the state title, but right there, major kudos to the Wolfpack on making it back to the state title game, and big congrats to the Wildcats on winning the state A crown. Moving along to the state track meets from over the weekend, beginning with Class AA, where the Flathead Braves nailed down a second-place finish while shattering a Montana State relay record in the process. Brody Thornsberry, Lane Chivers, Ben Blyven, and William Hollensteiner finished the 1,600-meter relay in 3 minutes and 15.92 seconds to break the previous state mark record of 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Major kudos to the Braves on that. The second place finish for Flathead gave them their first state track trophy since 2015. Overall, major kudos to the Flathead Braves track and field program on that first trophy in 9 years and for shattering the state 1,600-meter relay record. Awesome stuff. Let's take a quick look at the Class A track and field team, where Malachi Simpson and the Columbia Falls Wildcats boys track and field team took home second place at the State A track meet. Simpson swept the 100 and 200-meter events to help propel Sioux Falls to the team title. Whitefish came in third. As for the girls, Whitefish track star Brooks Tony won the 200-meter dash to close out her high school career with 6 individual state titles over the years, 3 each in the 100 and the 200-meter. Plus, she was a part of 7 championship relay teams. What a career for Zatoni. All right, last up for our prep sports action, the end of our spring sports season. State tennis, where Libby made history with Ryan Beagle bringing home the Loggers' first ever tennis championship. Beagle beat Polson's Torrin Ellis for the State A singles title. Beagle claimed set number 1 in a tiebreaker. Then he nabbed set 2 from Ellis 6-0 to claim the crown. Beagle was quoted in the Daily Interlakes State A tennis recap saying the following, quote, "This has been a gold mine since early in my life. To finally get it done and represent Libby, it felt pretty good." Major kudos to Beagle and the Libby Loggers tennis program on their first tennis championship. That's going to close out our spring sports coverage and our 2023-2024 prep sports coverage as a whole. Big shout out to all the athletes who competed in the Treasure State this year, and an even bigger shout out to all the seniors who are on to the next chapter. Let's close out this show with one piece of college sports news, and then we'll look at how the Range Riders fared in their opening homestand. So, some college sports news that relates to the Treasure State with the Frontier Conference adding 4 new schools beginning in the 2025-2026 season. Bellevue University, Dakota State University, Mayville State University, and Valley City State University will all be joining the conference. It was recently announced back in December. Dickinson State announcing that they were moving to the Frontier Conference as well. 5 new programs to the conference in total. The move is sparked by the North Star Athletic Association ceasing operations following the 2024-2025 season. Here's what Frontier Conference Commissioner Dr. Scott Crawford had to say about the announcement. Quote, "Today's announcement solidifies the future of the Frontier Conference through added strength in both institutional members and additional sport offerings to grow enrollments. This announcement also sends a message to the stability throughout the region regarding the future of the NAIA and the way the NAIA operates." All right. Pretty interesting to see the conference add some more depth across multiple sports because it's already one of the stronger conferences in the NAIA as far as at least basketball and football goes. I know that. So, going to be interesting to see. That's a lot of new talent, makes it a lot more competitive for Montana schools like Montana Western, Montana Tech, Carroll, the schools we mentioned. They're going to have some extra teams to fight with the next couple years in conference play. So that just adds some depth to competition, make things a little bit more interesting. We'll keep an eye on that down the road. All right, let's close it out with some Range Riders talk. The Glacier Range Riders, the Valley's pro baseball team, made some headlines over the weekend with a walk-off win to close out their 6-game homestand with the Oakland Ballers. The Riders lost their first 2 games of the season before rattling off 4 straight wins, highlighted by Joe McLaughlin's walk-off single Sunday afternoon at Glacier Bank Park. Mason Dennison also launched a 454-foot homer for the Riders in that win. One other note worth mentioning, outfielder Benjamin Fitzgerald, who's in his second year with the Riders, currently leads the team in batting average, runs batted in, and shares the team leading homers with Christian Kirtley with 3 apiece. It's early in the season, but look for Fitzgerald to be a key figure for this year's Range Rider squad. They'll be looking to replace some major pieces on offense with guys like Gabe Howell and D. Miller off to the next chapter. Some guys who were mainstays for the team the first 2 years of their existence. All right, that's going to do it for this week's Sports Now. It looks like this will be my finale hosting the Sports Now. So really quickly, major shout out to everyone who's followed the show over the last couple of years. It's been an awesome time, awesome experience covering sports in Northwest Montana, covering state football games in the snow, following the Grizz journey to the FCS title game, Montana State's basketball, making back-to-back March Madness appearances, and don't forget seeing the Glacier Range Riders walking off of Glacier Bank Park in the 2023 home opener. Just countless memories, awesome stuff I'll carry with me forever, and for that, I'm very thankful to cover the Northwest Montana sports scene the last 2 years. So big shout out to the Daily Interlake team, big shout out to all the Northwest Montana athletes, the Grizz, the Cats, all the fun stuff, a lot of good times, the Range Riders. On that note, though, for the last time here on the Interlake Sports Now, I'm Josh Dugan, and I'm out.